On today's episode of Watch JR Go, my Saab, I know, it broke again. So the last time we were in here, we rolled the window down and the window went down, tilted sideways and came back up. So hopefully today, my free candy fixes it. What is going on, guys? I am Watch JR Go, and today, like I said, we're gonna try to fix this window in the old Saab 9.5 Aero. Obviously, this is one of the last things that I need to do on the car. We've worked on basically everything on here, and of course, like right when I'm finishing it up, we decide, or the car decides to break. So these are the Saab parts, window rollers, 4493433s. I've got one for each window here, I think, 4 of them. And our game plan today is to tear the door panel off of this thing and try to fix this window that's all angled sideways. You can see a little bit of gap right there. I know it's tough. You can really just see the bad tint. So we're gonna try to pull that off today as well. So we'll hook up the steamer, try to get the tint off, and other than that, it's just time to tear this door panel off. Now, you can see this door panel's obviously been off many times here. It's broken there. It had some tape on it when I bought it. And these little trim pieces are broken as well. So there's not much I can do about that. And I would guess that these parts are kind of hard to get now. But as far as I know, to get this off, you're supposed to start by just, you know, doing the old hip thing and then wiggling this plastic off. And that is working very slowly. Coming off. I didn't think it was gonna be that easy. Ah, it has little nibs in there. This old brittle plastic is broken everywhere. So we'll keep popping, working around it. This should have never been designed like this. It's so much better when they have trim that doesn't have to come off the top of the door to get the door panel off. Setting this stuff aside and starting on the next part here, which normally would have come off with the upper part, but not in this case. Let's see, we should have a little tab. There is no tab. It kind of had a little click retention. So there's the mirror controls. Next up, we have to get these caps off of the door pull, which is really nasty. And I would assume Saab parts probably has these door pulls. I don't know for sure, but they have to be able to get replacements with how bad they are. And the passenger side's flawless. Kind of kills me inside. Let's see if we can get this one out. There's our cap. Using a little pick so we can get it out. I don't love that design because it's going to be hard to do this without tearing them up. So there it is. All right, so my T30 won't fit in here, so I'm going to have to come up with something smaller with an extension to go way down into the door, but I can get the handle off, which didn't even have the plug. So that one came right out. Let me go rig something up so we can get these out. So I went down to 1/4 inch and a much smaller Torx driver there. Doesn't have the huge hips that the other one had. Came right out. Where's the other one? Any day now. I think we got that one out. Underneath the door, we have this little push-in fastener right there. We're gonna push in on it, just like that, and pull down. I think I just got that without even having a tool. Wow, that works out pretty well. Let's start getting this thing off of here. Is this really how this works? If so, definitely a throwback to the 90s GM days. Those are the reasons that I'm terrified of door panels, because everything breaks every time on GM door panels, or like the windows in the F-body that are impossible to get out. So I just wiggled and the door handle came apart. There's our screws. Whole door handle assembly's out. And it looks like the fuel door button, we found out why that doesn't work. It's very obvious here. It looks like I'm gonna need to replace everything in there. I thought we had that working, but apparently we must not have. So you'll need a pick to get these connectors off, and it is, oh, maybe not. I guess if you push them through the front, you can maybe get a pick in there. There we go. We got the trunk one off, and the gas one, of course, disconnected itself because what a hack job What an absolute hack job in the wiring. So I have to fix all that now too. Ooh, genuine Saab Scandia labels in here. Anyway, the rest of this is better than I would expect. We've got good looking speakers with a good seal to the door panel. And I don't know where this roller is, but we're about to find it. Ha! I found the, here's the problem. Maybe. That's a broken window roller. It looks like exactly what we have right here. So let's figure out how to fix this. All right, let's roll these windows down. Once the window's down, oh no, is that really? What on earth? This thing is just totally jank. Somebody's been in here bending these arms around. Wow. I mean, I'm gonna see if it'll work, but this thing, this is a whole new level of, okay, well, it's getting closer to where it belongs. So we gotta get this clip off of here. See if I can get that to pop. There we go. Clip is out, and then we have to somehow, which means this roller slides up in these tracks here. Oh, okay, now it rolls fine. All right, once you get it past the edge, it does seem like it just kind of drops together. So that was not that bad. And now if I push the window down, which may or may not work, there it went. There's a little ball end on the regulator. This is one of those old like steel X regulators. This is the exact one that I've dreaded my whole life. I took them out in my Camaro when I was a kid and realized that window regulators are the worst thing ever made. The new cable ones, it's a world of difference. They're so much easier to work on, and they don't do this. Like, this is the definition of a disaster. So I'm gonna try bending this back a little bit, I guess. I'll get my giant pliers, put them in here on this arm, try to give it a little pull so this thing kind of lands where it needs to. And as far as the normal job, if you don't have a broken Saab like mine, you just slide this clip back on here and you know, push this thing in until it's fully captured, and that clip will keep the little ball, the roller ball, in the roller itself, and that should let this thing ride up and down very well. I think the strip that makes the window shut up is missing. That's typically a thing that would be in here, and also the vapor barrier is gone, I mean, and also wires. So we're gonna fix the wiring while we're in here. I just need to find that clip that I dropped. I think I'm gonna have to start this clip by hand and then push it in. So I think we got it. We now have a roller. Just gonna turn it a little bit, make sure it's all seated, and also make sure this is all the way in. And it seems like it is. Let's see if the window works now. These have never really worked right. No way! And they're auto! Wow! So, and this isn't like good. If you had a new window regulator, I think it would make a world of difference. Obviously it's been changed, there's marks all over the place. And I don't even understand how you could install a window regulator so poorly. But obviously, like, whoever took it off broke every piece of plastic in the interior. So I think that's just kind of, it lines up with this and that. We took the door panel off and found 15 more problems. Now, I think the passenger side's broke too. Oh no, the passenger side's working. I think we're okay. All right, we're gonna keep the passenger side as is. Motor's slow over there. And we should probably lubricate these tracks. So I'm gonna grab some Honda Shinetsu and, ooh. That worked 3 times. And then it just popped out. I'll get it sorted out. We're gonna straighten it out until it works. And we're back with the handy dandy Harbor Freight steamer. Obviously, we're still gonna get that sorted out, but since the window's stuck right here, it makes it easy to get this tint off of here. So, the steam turned to water. Nope, we're still separating the layers. That shouldn't be happening. I think we may have to actually just pull it all like that. All right, I got a couple edges started here, so we're gonna use the steam and try to heat this and get it off with, try not to leave all this adhesive behind. Here we go. Let's see if it works. If it doesn't, I look like the wizard in the Wizard of Oz or something, so still kind of cool. Ah, it wasn't hot enough. I gotta get it even hotter. That was removing severely damaged tint from the Saab 9.5. Now I gotta go get adhesive remover and clean up the mess. Well, there's most of our purple tint off of this thing. I think we got it all picked up. And now there's a little bit of adhesive around the top, but for the most part, we managed with the steam to get all of this off and not leave behind any adhesive residue, which is definitely tricky. So steam seems to always work well for me on this. Sure, you could do the old trash bag and ammonia out in the sun, and it should just make the stuff fall off, but the steam's quick if you have good tint, but once it's trash, you're kind of in trouble. So let's get this cleaned up and finish putting this thing back together. And of course, the thing everyone else wanted to see, the back window. So we're laying microfibers across the whole rear deck, and we're gonna start up here at the top and try to pull this tent off. So we have to succeed here, because if you're wrong, you're in trouble. Obviously, if you're wrong and you try to razor blade the rear glass, it breaks the defrost lines, pretty much ruining the rear glass, unless you don't need the defrost. Well, maybe you can see in here. I tried to blow all the steam out of the way, but we are making some progress. A little warm. I did a little body work on this window regulator. I know it's not the right thing to do, but we're not gonna wait a bunch of time for these parts, and there's no local ones. I just need to get it fixed so the car is sealed back up. So I think it'll work again for a long time. I took my Honda Shinetsu, greased the tracks like crazy. It runs way better now, and it doesn't pop out anymore. So I've tried it about 6 times. We fully greased those tracks where those rollers are. I think it works much better, and I also pretty much got that bent back into shape. It still has a little bit of a curve to it, but I think it's a lot better. So here we go again. When I bought this car, the window switches were taped over so you wouldn't use them. I mean, what a mess, but here we are. Could have been fixed so easily and right. All right, we're getting this whole thing put back together here so we can solder these wires, and we've got some heat shrink on our connector, and we're dealing with some tiny wires today. Let's go ahead and get our solder in here, and there we go. We're gonna make some actual connections. There's a little too much solder, and I mean, this was literally bare wires twisted together. So we fixed the connector itself because you guys saw that pulled out, and of course there's a different color wire in here. It should be red, but I don't have any red that small, so we're just gonna go with it and get this working again correctly. And here we go again. Boom. That one's better. Precision. See if we can do this without burning the tape, Tessa tape on this. There we go. Heat shrinked. We have made it better. We've fixed the wiring for real. Well, as best as we can without replacing the whole harness, which is what I'd like for it to be really correct. But we've got our door panel ready to go back on. The window runs for real now. And I think the main thing here is lining up this lock and then trying to pull those connectors through these holes here. So we've got a couple connectors, and I forgot, fuel goes on bottom, trunk goes on top. So that's fuel, and green is fuel. That goes on bottom, and this one goes right there. Cool. We have our connectors. Hopefully the door panel on your 9.5 isn't as bad as mine. Cool, so we have that switch fixed for sure. Let's go ahead and Try to get the wires tucked back in there somewhere reasonable. And put our trunk release in. Let's see, it goes like that, tab down, or it goes like that. Trunk works. All right, and I am having to snap every single piece of this trim back together to make it fit. So I'm just kind of going around piece by piece, and that's how it was. Once you put all these together, it kind of fits like a puzzle piece. I mean, it's not supposed to, it's supposed to be one giant piece. But it is 20 years old, so it makes sense that this stuff's breaking. Does this go right here? Maybe it does. Now for our big trim piece, should hopefully just snap in everywhere. All right. Oh, and we'll have to take this one back off and use it to interlock these two. And that one holds that one. And now they're all held back together. So we'll put our push pin back in underneath, and that pretty much wraps up rebuilding the door on the Saab. Make sure you put all your little fasteners back. I sure wish I could get a new handle. Hopefully the lock still works. I better try that out. Oh, what's going on here? Oh. Okay, we're back. Okay, we're back. Everything's working. All right, good deal. Try our window out. Ah, yes. We've got windows, locks, buttons. Oh. Okay, it's just I thought the security system was going off. So we still have to reach in here and hit the release, but we fixed the trunk so far. Obviously, we've rebuilt all the wiring in that, and we've got all the other wiring fixed. So I'm getting pretty excited about where this thing's at. We've got mostly all the back tint off. That's gonna take a lot more time, so we're quitting on that for the day. And we've rebuilt the door panel, just fixed tons of things, which is kind of what this car always is. Every time we get into something, it's just more and more stuff that's broken. But that is it for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to head on over to shop.watchjericho.com for cool shirts just like this. And please like, share, subscribe, do whatever you want to do, and I will talk to you next time. It's getting better and better. I wish I had all this trim, but boy, all that stuff's probably fragile no matter what. Not much getting around the sun killing these parts after years. So everyone in the last video was trying to tell me I was using the oil filter cutter wrong, and I get it, I was. Like, if you had a vise and you had the filter in it, you could put this on here like this, although it has a ton of lever over here that would be throwing you off. I get that, that makes sense. But everyone was trying to say you use it like a copper tubing cutter. Well, that doesn't work at all. The filter is locked up right there. You can see where all that paint's missing. Like, these are too wide for a normal filter. And of course they're probably too small for like the big filters on my diesel. Like, they work on one size filter and that's it, because it doesn't even pick up these wheels. So that's what was happening. Without being able to pick up the wheels, it doesn't turn softly. So when I tried to use just the blade like a tubing cutter, it just creased the filter and did nothing. So it will not work like that, no matter how many times you guys comment it. So I just want to make sure that everybody knows I tried that first and it doesn't work. The only way this thing could work is if you just punched it all the way in so you could get it through the filter, then it would cut. Otherwise, we would have just ended up with a bunch of creased filters that never cut through. So it's really just a cheap junk design. There's got to be a better one. I think there is. Almost all of them are the same, but I saw a different cutter that has a pivot point that goes in the threads and then a blade, and it just goes around the pivot point. That's how you do it. That makes way more sense than this. This is a bad tool.